DC cleaning system machine.
Today we're gonna put this system under vacuum to see if it has any leaks using this Robinair Cooltech machine. I'm gonna start by connecting the low side line to the low side to the low side service port there on the TX valve.
We're gonna put it in a vacuum.
Okay, so what we're gonna want to do, we're gonna also take off the service cap here off the low pressure side. You're gonna look in there, see if it's clean. It's you want to really make sure it's clean because you don't want to suck up any kind of debris into your machine. You're gonna go do the same thing on your high pressure side. You're gonna want to look in there, see down to that Schrader valve. Make sure there's no debris in there either. And before you hook up your lines, you don't want to do the same thing. Just go ahead, check for those ball bearings in there. Make sure those guys are in there. Make sure it functions properly like it should. You pull it back, snap it on there, let it go. It's a quick disconnect. Okay, so now that we've checked the O-rings, connections, and the fittings here for cleanliness, we're gonna go ahead and connect our valve here. And all you're gonna do to connect it, like I said, it's a quick disconnect. So all you gotta do is you pull this back. While you're pulling it back, you slide it onto the valve and then let it go, and it should pop into place. And as soon as you do that, you give it a little tug, backwards tug, to make sure it's connected properly before you go ahead and open this valve here. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do exactly what I told you. I'm gonna be pulling them back on this collar, put it on there, gave it a little tug, and it is connected now. Now we're sure it's connected. Okay, so now the machine's gonna give you these on-screen options. It's gonna prompt you. All you're gonna have to do is, use yes or no. So it says low refrigerant filled tank. No, I don't want to fill the tank. So that's no.
Do some editing.
You got videos done, you go fast.
Well, why don't we put this away? I know he's about to be done.
Yeah.
Good?
So the up and downs adjusts vacuum time by 10-second increments. I'm gonna go ahead and set it at 15. So let's watch. It's vacuuming, and it's gonna take 15 minutes to vacuum down the system. So we're just gonna wait now. All right, go ahead.
All right, now we close the valve.
Okay, so after you go ahead and put it in recover, it gives you a countdown here about how much time is remaining. It takes 5 minutes to do, and you just wait for it to finish, and then the screen will prompt you for the next step. And while this is going on, also you want to make sure you don't touch or tap or move this machine whatsoever for any reason. All right, now the vacuum's complete. It's over here, it's pegged out. So what we're gonna do now is close that valve, and we're gonna let it set for 5 minutes. And what we're basically watching is to make sure this needle doesn't move. If it moves, then there's a leak somewhere in the system. But if it holds it pegged out like that, then there's no leak. So that's what we're gonna do now. Okay, so after it finishes recovering, it's gonna go ahead and drain the oil. Whatever oil that it recovers, it's gonna just dump it down in this tank right here. So we're waiting on it to do that. Recover complete, recovered 0 pounds, 0 ounces. Check oil bottle. It's telling me to check that bottle because it's probably getting a little feel. Okay, so select function here. I'm gonna go ahead and select recover. low recover pressure check connections. That's because I have the valve closed. So we got to open it. Let it open, bro.
You need to buy that one. It's still on here.
Okay. So start yes.
That's it. He's on the recovery side. I do too.
All right, 5 minutes has elapsed. No loss of vacuum. So that would tell us that there's no leak. No leak over here. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and close this valve up and then take it off and we'll be done.